porn site. I'm talking about the hardcore file shares of really young child pornography. So we're focused on that. You'll see a lot more cases being made of those individuals, and that's a big problem. And what goes hand in hand probably with some of that is human trafficking, and especially as it relates to young girls who are in the sex trade, working in, whether it's the topless clubs or whether it's massage parlors or a bunch of different places, 14, 15-year-olds that are being prostituted. And go to a website called backpage.com, and you'll see them all advertised on there, and it is a big problem and becoming more and more of a problem. This summer I announced the formation of a special victims unit within the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office that's focusing on that. Again, because of staffing, we've had to ramp it up. It's not fully operational yet, but they're investigating some cases and making some headway. But we're dedicated and are going to continue to dedicate resources to that. Some of the cutting edge stuff in law enforcement we're going to focus on moving ahead in this direction. It has to do with more proactive policing, what's called predictive policing and predictive analytics, using algorithms in past history to try and predict where crime may occur in the future. And one initiative that we're going to look at is establishing what's called a real-time crime center, which increases situational awareness so that as the deputies are responding to calls, they get information real time as to what they're going into. So if they're going to a domestic and the person has a history of being violent with law enforcement, has a history of guns, firearms, or other things they need to know as they're responding to that call, they get it real time as they're responding. So those are some of the cutting edge technological things. We're still very, very much here in Pinellas County on the forefront nationwide in facial recognition. I don't know of another agency. I spent a day up in Washington a couple of weeks ago. I was asked to come up and meet with a bunch of federal partners on that. We have about 28 million images enrolled in our facial recognition system, and it's a very powerful system that allows us to identify people who play what we call the name game with us. When they tell us their name is Joe Smith, but it's really not, and they're trying to play that game. And we've pioneered it here in Pinellas County, and again, we have the largest system. We're committed to technology, and I can tell you that what I'm very committed to in the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office is making sure that we have the absolute highest level of accountability, that we run the agency in the most cost-effective, most efficient way that we can, and that our people realize that they're there to serve, and that serving is a right, it's not a privilege, it's something that they need to know where their responsibility lies, and that everybody is doing everything that they can to support that mission. And I think we're making great progress with a number of things that we're doing. We've still got a ways to go as far as overcoming some of the things that we had to with the economic downturn. But again, things are getting better, things are looking up. So that's kind of an overview. There are some hot topics. One of them I'll talk. How much time do I have left? 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay. Well, one of them, I hope somebody will ask, but if not, I'm going to throw it out there anyway, so I'll just take this one off the table. It has to do with the issue of red light cameras. I am 100% opposed to red light cameras. I don't like them. I think they're done for the wrong reason. And I really believe, and have a very strongly held belief, that traffic enforcement can be just as effective with warnings as it can with citations and causing people to pay significant amounts of money. Is that traffic enforcement needs to be done for public safety reasons. And if a decision is made to issue a ticket to somebody, it needs to be done based upon dialogue between the citizen, violator, and the officer. And a lot of environmental factors need to come into play. The officer needs to consider the type of driving involved, needs to consider the factors of weather, needs to consider whether it's aggressive driving, needs to consider the driver's attitude and whether they accept responsibility for their actions, needs to consider the driver's history. If you have somebody that has absolutely no citations and they're a safe driver and they have no warnings, that's a big difference than the person who's driving down the road at 5 o'clock, weaving in and out of traffic, almost causes a wreck, has got a bad attitude about it, and has 4 tickets and 3 warnings in the last 6 months. Guess what? They need to pay up. Okay? So it needs to be a good decision. This is not a gotcha situation. This should not be a situation where somebody's sitting there in front of a TV monitor or a computer screen, and you got a line in the road, and a car comes up, and whoops, it goes from yellow to red, and the person's wheels touch the line. Oh, now you got to pay $158. To me, that's not public safety. That's not good law enforcement. and I'm totally opposed to red light cameras. Now,